You've lent your voice to so many iconic TV commercials, and you also appeared in several, memorable ads. One of
Yes.
my favorite ads is the Tata Safari commercial where you sit
Ah,
calmly on a roller coaster ride. You're very calm on a roller coaster ride, and but scream the moment you get into the car. It is so hilarious. So, like, how has your journey in the advertising world been? And
thank you so much for bringing that up because it's not something that everybody brings up. It's so long ago, you can't even see it online. But that was a huge commercial, and we shot it in Malaysia, in Genting Highlands, on the roller coaster, which at that time was the highest roller coaster in Asia, I think. It was directed by Abhinay Deo, who also directed Delhi Belly, I think. Abhinay directed that. And like Lagero Munna Bhai, that kind of changed my career for advertising. Again, it was overnight recognition because on those days, it's not like digital now where we choose to see an ad. Sometimes we don't even know whether the commercials are playing or not. We miss so many. At that time, if the ad was on air, you saw it because it was on TV. We had to sit through the commercial breaks in those days. And that was literally, that ad came out, boom, and it was such a good idea. And it turned out a really good commercial. But you'd ask the question about being completely straight faced on the roller coaster, and then at the end we get in the car. I hate roller coasters.
really?
I have, my wife absolutely loves them. I have a fear of roller coasters. I have a fear of all these rides. I just can't handle them. And that height, even though you're strapped in, I hate them. And I remember they did the test in SL World. They did a test with that tiny roller coaster that they have. I think my neck got hurt just doing that test because it was jittering so much. And then I got the part. I got the ad. And it was also decent pay for that time as well. I said, okay. In Genting Highlands on that roller coaster, you were sitting in the front. They'd rigged the camera on the front, the two of us sitting out there, and we had to switch the camera on. And we did it 9 times. We did it 9 times with me having to stay straight faced with absolute fear inside me. I cannot, I do not know till this day how I managed that. Plus, I said, can I chew some gum? I wanted to do something. So that's why I said, I got to do something else. Not just, so I was chewing gum and the other guy wasn't. And in between as well, I got so sick that they had to pause after the third or fourth time. They had to wait for like a couple of hours because everything was just revolving. I was just lying down there with the world just moving around me. I was so sick and I've never got onto a roller coaster after that. Ever again. No, thank you. I don't want it. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to do these things.
I watched Quick Gun Murugan recently. The film is hilarious. The scenes between you and Rice Plate Ready, Nassar,
Yes,
are
yes.
like they're so hilarious and memorable. He is a senior artist. His comic timing is impeccable. How was your experience working with Nassar? And you were playing a major part in that
In
movie.
that film. So first of all, I love that you're bringing up all these things which so many people don't bring up. It's part of my resume as an actor. These projects are very close to my heart, and a lot of people haven't seen them as well. I would say they've not been put out there that much. But for you to have actually gone and looked at it, I'm saying thank you so much. That's really nice to know that you've seen it. Quick Gun Murugan was again an iconic film because of the character Quick Gun Murugan. I think that was on Channel V, Quick Gun Murugan, and it was Shashank Ghosh who directed it. It was his baby, It was just a fun film using from South Indian actors and then teaming up with Bollywood as well, bringing them together. So, yes, I got that part because of my white skin. I will admit that, because of the skin color I have. And originally, I think it was written as American. And I said, hey, yeah, this is very boring. Yeah, let's not do an American accent. Can I just do a generic Eastern European Russian accent? That will make it more fun. So they said, yeah, sure, of course you can do that. And we had such a blast working, like you said, with Nasir, with Ramba, uh, with Raju Sundaram, who is Prabhu Deva's brother. The Southern actors are just so centered and so pleasant to work with. Nasir is a huge star. He is at a level of our stars out here. He's big. And he was so pleasant to work with, these guys. You didn't feel that you were working with a star of that level. They were so pleasant. Plus, also in that movie, you also had Anu Menon, Lola Kutti, who used to do Lola Kutti. Anu was also in that, and Anu and I had we had just also become friends around then. So it was nice to know that she was in the film. Even Gaurav Kapoor was in that. They had so many different kind of people. But Dr. Django and Rice Plate Reddy, iconic,
Yes,
absolutely. Even
for
in that
sure.
uh, even in that scene where I've got Ramba, I got Mango Dolly, and I've got her with the gun, and I said, "I love your culture. Yeah, I love Munna Bhai." That's me saying it as well, which is quite funny considering I'm also in Munna Bhai, and it was all shot around the same time. It was all shot then. But I got another movie because of Nasir, a Tamil film. They were making the remake of Delhi Belly, and
Oh,
it's called
really?
yes, and it's called Satire. I'm not sure. I don't think it did fantastically. It had Arya in it, and it
Yeah.
had huge actors from the comic space in from Tamil films. They were in it, and Nasid was playing Vijay Raja's character in that. And Nasir had recommended me. He had
Oh,
told them to call me and ask me to shoot for it. So it was incredibly nice of him. And there's a great story of me shooting with Nasir. Again, these are things I will remember, and they will probably not. I couldn't get one Tamil line. It was really difficult because Tamil can be really difficult with the inflection changes, the meaning of the word, of the sentence. And there was one line I just couldn't get. And he told me, he said, look, it's over the shoulder shot. I will just put it on a piece of paper and stick it on my forehead. Read it off my forehead. I'm like, I what? So he put it there like that because he said over the shoulder. He said, now you just make sure you just read it off my forehead so you don't get the line wrong. And I thought that was really sweet of him because I don't see many actors of that stature in
no.
Bollywood doing that for you. Just incredibly pleasant. That was just a fun shoot. Quicker Murugan. Quicker Murugan was overall just a mad film, and I am glad that it was made.
Now, when you talk about comedy, I
Yeah,
remember you did great Indian comedy show. It used to come on Star One,
yeah,
but it
10
was a truly amazing show. It was such a unique concept that was brought at that point of time. How did that opportunity come your way? And I feel that particular show should come back now.
again, thank you for bringing up things that are really close to me. I, 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 I really like that. And going back to again how people help you move ahead in the industry. I was doing a film called Kudiyo Ka Hai Zamana, which had Rekha, Mahima Chaudhary, it had Sachin Khedekar, and Gaurav Kapoor, who who's the VJ, Gaurav Kapoor. So Gaurav Kapoor, and now he's into sports entertainment, and he's also a producer, and he was always a mad cricket fan, and that is what he is into as well. Gaurav Kapoor, I met him on that, and he said, I'd like you to introduce you to these people. I think you should test for this show. I'm on it right now, and you should come. So he's the one who got me my audition, my meeting, my test. So I went in for the Great Indian Comedy Show, and I was I got through the tests, the auditions. It was almost like the Indian Saturday Night Live at that time. And it was also Star One, which was a really fresh channel, which was
Yeah.
doing quirky shows. I think Khichdi was on it. Then there
Yeah.
was this show with, again,
Sarabhai versus Sarabhai.
Sarabhai versus Sarabhai was there. Then there was a show with these four flatmates. There was Samir Soni. I'm trying to remember everybody on that. They were doing that, and they also had this. And Star One was the new, fresh, young channel at that time. So we were on Monday to Thursday. Vinay Pathak, Ranveer Shori, Suresh Menon, all these people were almost like the
The Great Indian
hosts.
Comedy Show,
Like
Monday
they
to
would host the
Thursday, 5
show, and then
p.m.
the gags
original
would come
non-stop.
in. And then you had Gaurav Gera, you had Purvi Joshi, you had Suchitra Pillai, you had Manni De, you had Sonia Rakkar, you had Vishal Malhotra, so many other actors. And I'm sorry if I'm not going to mention them if the names don't come up, but we were all really close, and we weren't working like stars. We didn't have vanity vans. We had two rooms where all of us just sat there together. Nobody complained about me not having my van, me not having my dressing room. All of us just chilled together. We ate our food together, and we had fun together. That was a show that I never thought of as work. I never thought of as work. You literally wanted to go there every week to shoot. And Shashant, Shashant Shah, our director, incredible director, they used to direct almost like live editing. They had three camera setup, they had a monitor room, and they were cutting while we were shooting our gags. So the cutting was happening while we were shooting. So literally, while we were finished with the sketch, with the gag, it was ready. They'd already live edited it as we were shooting. So we did a lot of rehearsal before we actually did the shoot. A lot of time was spent rehearsing the gags, and then we would shoot it so it would facilitate the process faster. And that was really a learning place for me because it was one of my first shows. And these guys can be not difficult people to be around.
The Great Indian Comedy Show,
They are
Monday
very
to
vocal
Thursday,
people.
5 p.m.
They speak their
original
mind, these
non-stop.
actors from Vinay, Ranveer, Suresh. They can be rude as well. But the ruder they are to you means they like you. The more rude they are means they actually like you. The less rude, maybe you shouldn't bother. So it wasn't easy joining this show as a new member because,
Yeah.
yeah, there would be people judging you because these people work like that. They work in tandem, they work so quickly. And all of us became really good friends. We shot some fantastic gags. It wasn't just mimicry. A lot of Indian comedy was mimicry, mimicry, mimicry.
Yeah.
But we shot gags, and we shot random gags. We shot
The Great
political
Indian
gags.
Comedy Show,
We
Monday to
shot gags
Thursday,
about
5
cricket.
p.m.
We shot
original
gags about
non-stop.
Bollywood. I remember Shashank Shah once, Ranveer wasn't around, and he used to play Amitabh. And he said, Ashwin, you're Amitabh. I'm like, I'm Amitabh? He said, yeah. He said, you'll do it. I know that. So I even played Amitabh then because he said, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
Because I said, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to play a version of Ranveer playing Amitabh because that's who I see all the time. And those guys, they became family. We meet up whenever we can. And every time we meet up, it's from Kiku Sharda as well. And now Kiku is so big with the Great Indian Couple show and all that he's doing. All of us, we used to have so much fun shooting, and I'm grateful for those times because we learned so much. And I think I must have done around 200, 300 episodes of that show because it was Monday to Thursday.
Yeah.
And unlike other TV daily soaps where they just hand you the script and say, we're shooting this now, here, yes, we used to get those scripts, but we used to be shooting 2 or 3 hours later. We had time to rehearse, to practice, to learn the
Yeah.
lines. And what I used to love about that show is how all of us used to fight to be the background artists in the sketches. If we were not in a sketch, we wanted to be in the background, sitting in a restaurant. So yeah, they used to have junior artists, extras as well. But all of us used to place ourselves as background artists in so many sketches because we wanted to be in everything. Even if we weren't in that sketch as the principal actors, we're sitting in the restaurant at the back doing some silly thing.
Do you miss that kind of comedy today?
I do.
Yeah.
I do miss it. I think we missed the boat with sketch comedy. When you see Saturday Night Live and you see all the years it's been, and yes, some years good, some years bad. Sometimes a sketch is not good. Sometimes it's just of a level that you could not even think possible. But they do it year after year, and they do it season after season. And so many actors have come from that. I do miss that. I think we lost that time where we could do gags and sketches. And I don't know why that stopped. I don't know whether it's the political environment that stopped it. Possibly that has something to do with it because, again, nobody wanted to be offended.
Yeah, true.
And somebody is going to be laughed at.
Yeah,
But
true.
I always say that you can't be offended at something and then laugh at something else. In
Yeah.
that case, you shouldn't be allowed to laugh at anything. There's always going to be something that will not make you happy. That is the nature of comedy because somebody has a certain thought process or as to what that joke is, and that may not set with you. And I do miss those times. What happened was the laughter challenge came, and even though that created stars, I think it created television in India that killed sketch comedy. And that's why
True.
you've got people like Bhuvan Bam and people like that who built their own sketch comedy on YouTube.
Yeah,
That's
true.
why
Yeah.
AIB also came, and they also shut down AIB as well. Because every time you go after the establishment, the established the establishment wants to shut you down. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
because they cannot be mocked, they cannot be laughed at, and
So true.
I do miss it. I really
Yeah.
do. I miss the freedom of that kind of content making.
Do you think if you get an opportunity today to do the same, will you do that now?
Only if the writing is good. You got to remember,
Yeah.
we had writers who you're looking at now who are really good. They were all working on
Yeah.
the Great Indian Comedy Show. Varun Grover was a writer.
Yeah.
As Arshad Saeed was a writer.
Yeah.
There's so many people on that who were writing then who now are doing who are at another
Stand up.
level now. But you have to get that kind of writing in to make things sharp. And unless that's there, generic is no fun.
Yeah. True.
So I would love to, but I think it has to be at a level that makes people sit up, that makes people laugh and think at the same time. Comedy
True.
always I always think there should also be a message behind it. And that,
Satire.
that
Yeah.
message hits you later when you think back on the joke, when you think back on why they did this sketch, why did this comedian do this joke. 2 days later, you go, oh, wow, now I get it. I laughed really hard at that time, but now I get it.
Have you seen Jaspal Bhatti's flop show
Of
where he used
course,
to do
of
satire
course,
comedy?
of course. Absolute genius. And I've met Jaswal Bhatti as well because my first film I shot with was a film called Kuch Meetha Ho Jaye, which again built my relationships with other people to get me other work. And Jaspal was also in that. Incredible. The flop show, he was a comedic genius. There are things now that people still put out some of his sketches saying, look how relevant they are today.
True.
I think recently one of them went viral again. I can't remember which one it was. It was about when the whole Indigo thing happened with the flights and I think one of his sketches just came out
Yeah.
where he goes to an airport, and so where somebody comes to the airport, and it's always the same guy. Whether he's gone to the baggage handling, whether he's gone to check in, whether he's on the flight, the pilot, it's the same person working for this airline. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jaspal Bhatti was great. The flop show was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was that was that was an 80s show though, late 80s, early
Uh,
90s.
yeah. Early 90s. I
He
think
was
that,
brilliant.
yeah, I think that's where Sunil Grover, I think he
Mhm.
was discovered in that show, in Flop Show. He was discovered there.
Was it on that? Yeah.
Yeah. So now we'll talk about your another film, which
Yeah,
is
please.
fashion. Your role in fashion really stood out and got a lot of attention. What was your experience working in that film?
Working on the film was fantastic. It was an ensemble cast. It had so many people in it. I'm saying there was Harsh Chaya, there was Sameer Soni, there was Kittu Gidwani, then Mugdha Godse, of course Kangana, Priyanka. Of course, that absolutely put her into the stratosphere. That made her where she is now comes from fashion. At that time, a female-led film of that level didn't really happen, and shooting for it was great. I think I must have shot at least 25 days on that film, which is quite a bit. I never thought the the way sometimes people think of that character, and I'm going to come to that again. Working on the film was great. How the industry perceived me and how people perceived me afterwards wasn't great. I have no regrets about that part or that film, but it impacted my career and not in a positive way. At that time, not many actors, very few actors played gay parts or outwardly gay. And when I was offered it, hey, I'm a working actor, because of the stigma that is attached to it. It's different now. Ever since they removed Section 377, that has gone out. People play what they want. Nobody says anything. At that time, the judgment that used to come out from even watching me as that character, the assumption was from everybody that was I was like that. I only got offered parts like that. So my problem is not people thinking, people who watch cinema thinking like that. My problem is people in the industry thinking like that. An actor played a part. That's it. Why are you thinking that is who he is? And even if he was, what difference does that make? I played a part. That is it. And you are just offering me this. So the amount of work I said no to afterwards, because the roles that were offered were just terrible. They were awful. And I felt that if I did that, I would be doing a disservice to myself and the character I played in fashion. So it impacted my career for a while. And even a few weeks ago, I got a call for a movie, exact same thing. And I told them, I said, is this what you think I play 20 years later? Almost 20 years later, is this what you think I am capable of? And they said, we're really, really sorry. No, no, that's not you. I said, that's what I feel that you, or that's what I think you feel in that way. To me, I was working 25 days with Priyanka Chopra. That's how I said, this is great. Of course, I want to shoot with her. And I think even I'm not sure, but they interchanged the parts, or somebody else said yes, or Harsh was supposed to do this, or they'd come to me for the other part, then they said, this is available. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So I have no regrets about the character I played. I believe, again, I played the character I just played a character who was like that. But I wasn't playing him as a gay character. I was just playing him as a person. And I think that's what comes across to people. But it impacted my career in the industry. I'm absolutely certain of that.
When you say that, the character becomes strongly associated with you,
Mhm.
and so it's very easy to get typecasted. If you want to get out of that, stereotype, what are the options? What can be done?
So number one, there's nothing wrong with stereotyping. It gets actors a lot of work. There are a lot of daily soap actors, I've done daily soaps as well, who can never translate to films even though they want to, because they've been associated so strongly with that character for 6, 7 years or 10 years. But it's given them money, it's given them a life. So you have to make your peace with it. Like I said, nothing wrong with being typecasted because it helps actors earn money. But if you want to move away, you will have to say no to work. It means that you will be unemployed or you will be at home. You will have to do something because you're saying no. Otherwise, you will always play those parts. And I have always tried not to typecast myself. Yes, in some things, the NRI, the rich boss, yes, those will come. Of course, it's the way you look, and people will come to you. And of course, you should take those roles. But each one has a different flavor to it. Not everyone, not every role is the same. So you have to look at it from that point of view. But if they said, ये foreigner का part है, again and again and again, and I've said no to that so many times. So there are people who always say, why do you always play gay parts? Why are you always a foreigner? I know, I saw your eyebrows go up like that, but I get that from people. And and my reply to that is, okay, which films did you see where I was playing a gay character? Fashion. I've done over 40 movies, which is the other film. Now they can probably say Life in a Metro, but that character looked completely straight. I don't want to put spoilers. In Life in a Metro, that character looked completely straight, and then something happens. I did it because of that. And also, I was acting with Konkana Sharma. I want to act with actors I want to act with. And sometimes, if a character is a certain way, I get to act with the actor I want to work with. So when they say things, they'll say, oh, you're always a foreigner. I'm like, okay. Again, which film? And they'll say Bhoot and Friends, and they'll say Quick Gun Murugan, maybe. Yeah, Bhoot and Friends is incredibly popular with a certain audience because it was the only kids film playing on Pogo the week with Jackie Shroff and me. And that was a villain, bad, evil white guy villain. I loved it. It was great fun. And then I say, so name the films. And they're not able to name anything. So how are they seeing this in their head? As I've always played these parts. Maybe because I played it really well. So that's what they remember. And that's okay as well. So I always feel that I've tried to move away from stereotypes for myself. And I think my work does reflect that. I've done daily soaps. And people still call me by that character on that soap where I did Itna Karo Na Mujhe Pyar. And people still say, hey, Karan. For them, I'm Karan.